So Tuesday night's midterm elections wasn't exactly the red wave that Republicans were hoping for. While the party certainly picked up seats in the House, we saw that Democrats were able to retain various seats across the country, various swing seats, I should say, across the country, including Abigail Spanberger's seat in Virginia's 7th District, one of those pivotal bellwether districts that we always talk about in terms of determining the direction of an election. We also saw some Republicans, including Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, a very Trumpian, firebrand conservative Republican, very much on the defense in her deep red Colorado district. But Democrats didn't necessarily defend all of their seats. We saw that Sean Patrick Maloney, the chairman of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the committee that's in charge of the House campaign arm, essentially, lost his own re-election bid in New York. So it was a mixed bag, I think, for both parties, but certainly not a red wave for Republicans in the House. Moving into the Senate, that's still very early to be called. The biggest win of the night in the Senate was John Fetterman's win in Pennsylvania. His victory essentially flips that seat from red to blue. Fetterman was able to declare victory very early on Wednesday morning, and Dr. Mehmet Oz, his Republican opponent, called him to concede early on Wednesday morning as well. So Democrats definitely having a victory in the Senate that could provide cushioning for them depending on what happens in states like Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona, where those races have yet to be called. Exit polls showed that inflation, the economy, and abortion access were very important issues to voters. In Pennsylvania in particular, we saw abortion really topping voters' priorities list, which I think was very surprising to a lot of us going into this election because we expected that the economy was going to be of significant importance to voters and essentially trump abortion access. However, it appears that both issues, and in some case, abortion access, were the top issue for voters. That could have helped candidates like John Fetterman get over the line in Philly's suburbs or in Pittsburgh suburbs and ultimately handed him the victory. In governor's races, we've seen that, for example, Governor Tony Evers in Wisconsin was able to hold on to his seat, whereas in Arizona, it's a very close race between Republican Kari Lake and Democrat Katie Hobbs. But that race is also another example as to how Democrats overperformed expectations. Katie Hobbs was thought to be trailing Kari Lake for a while in the polls during the campaign season. However, now it's Kari Lake who's trailing Katie Hobbs as results come in out of Arizona. So certainly a mixed bag. I would say a lot of strategists and operatives are ultimately calling this a really weird night in general. We were expecting a red wave given that there's the historical significance of a first-term president, his party typically losing seats during his first-term election. However, that didn't necessarily happen to the extent that we all predicted.